Yes, this is Afriq 24. This is your Dimba show. Yeah, we are going to discuss some of the stories that concerns football, and of course, it's on a Monday, and this is October date 14, year 2024. The year is always ending. What have you done? What have you achieved as a Kenyan, as a Tanzanian, as American who is following this conversation? And of course, here we're going to discuss some of the stories that concerns football. And don't forget that in Kenya, we are suffering. This is after our team, national team, Harambee Stars, was thrashed by Cameroon at Namboole Stadium and also at Yaounde. And also today, we were defeated by Cameroon for, that is 1-0. At Cameroon, they defeated us 4-1. And that is something that raised a lot of concerns when it comes to the Kenyan football and the fans' pressure. Today, they were also unlucky. We were defeated by Cameroon 1-0. So who are we going to complain to? Is it the coach? Is it the federation? Or what is the main problem that is affecting our national men's soccer? Yesterday, too, we witnessed our under 20 football team that is led by coach Salim Babu defeating Djibouti 4-0 at Kinondoni Stadium, Dar es Salaam. This is a CECAFA qualifiers for Africa Cup of Nations under 20, whereby our under 20 national team, that is the Racing Stars, defeated Djibouti for 0 at Dar es Salaam. That is more of what is happening in the CECAFA qualifiers. We are waiting to see if, and of course, our team there, the Racing Stars, they are now number 1, followed by the host Tanzania, who ties the points together with Sudan. And we are focusing to extend our win to the quarterfinals. This is after what is happening in the CECAFA qualifiers. Don't forget, this is all about football. Our junior starlets are in Dominican Republic, and the World Cup is kicking off. Under 17 World Cup is kicking off this week. Are we going to win our first match against England? Because those are the defending champions of that competition. We are featuring England, Mexico, and the Democratic Republic. We are waiting to see what is going to happen because we have a lot of faith when it comes to our under 17, led by our own coach, that is Milton Cheche. And we have some of the stars there, the likes of Joan Quinta and Marion Serenke. So wherever you're following this conversation, I welcome you so that we can discuss some of the top stories here about football. But we are going to start with our Harambee Stars and also focus with the EPL UEFA Nation League as we terminate. And I am not alone here in the studio. I have Benjamin Kilong here, Mzee Kilong. You know him. He has been here for us every day. Karibu sana Mzee Kilong.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. Nice to be here, where we are going to talk about football, especially focusing on Harambee Stars, and try to see what has happened all over Europe during the UEFA Nations League. And now, as the Premier League resumes, we're also going to talk a little bit about it because we have exciting matches that are coming. Thank you for having me here, Bonnie.
That is Kilong, and saying that we're going to discuss all those here in Afriq 24 Dimba show. So wherever you're following this conversation, remember to always like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go there. You have a lot of stories there about what is happening today. And here we are having our Dimba show, Monday edition, discussing some of the things that are happening in terms of football. And we just want to go ahead and discuss about our Harambee Stars. Because personally, I've been following the Harambee Stars team for a long time. The first match when we played it in Cameroon, Japoma Stadium, we were not technical when it comes to our striking, defense, and also goalkeeping. And that's why we were clompered 4-1 by the Cameroon. Although Cameroon is a very tough team comparing to Kenya. Cameroon has been playing in the Africa Cup of Nations. Cameroon has been there for even World Cup. We saw them in the 2022 World Cup, whereby their striker Vincent Abubakar was there, producing some of the best goals in the FIFA 2022 Qatar World Cup. But we tried. I saw some of the people trying to criticize the national team, and our national team captain Michael Lunga responded saying that we should always expect something that is positive from the fans. And if we always talk some things which are negative, then they are going to affect the team performance. So Harambee Stars coach said that he said that we are not even supported by the federation, by the government, and even the journalists, because there were few journalists who traveled to Cameroon to cover that match. Today we are even worse. There were no fans in Mandela Stadium, Uganda, and we were defeated 1-0. So I just to ask Kilong, what do you think is the main problem that is affecting now Harambee Stars? Is it the coach? Is it the federation, players, or we are being featured with tough groups? Is Cameroon a tough group to Kenya? Because we are featured with Cameroon, Zimbabwe, and Namibia.
Thank you, Boni. Whatever I think the main problem we have in Kenya is our federation, because there is no, the management in itself is confused all over the place, and there is no support really from the government, because how can we play our home game in Uganda, and we're supposed to play it uh, in Kenya? Imagine if the game could have been played in Kasarani, which is just next to my place. I could have walked and watched the game and support my team, but now my team is playing in Uganda. Nobody cares. So what is ailing the Kenyan football is a federation and the management, and this should be a complete overhaul, start from scratch, and rebuild the football federation for Kenya, so that they can manage football as a whole. Once there is good management, it will trickle down to the players, to the coaches, and they will see that there is a support, and now they will improve their game. And if they are facilitated, they get good training facilities, then we will see that the football level will increase, and it will help us win games. Because uh, before the game today, with the first leg we had with Cameroon, we scored, we were battered 4-1, and it was really an awful game to watch. I never watched it online, but I went through the highlights, and it was devastating. We considered some uh, stupid goals, and our attack was bland. So this means that if we try to rectify the management and try to put uh, sports in Kenya as a priority, because as I've said over and over again, that in Kenya the only sport that is looked that has a bit of facilitation is the athletics, because we have good athletes, and apart from that, the other sports are just left on their own to run on their own on autopilot, which is not really the case. We should have uh, a well-built management that can help football go forward. And to be honest, it will be a tough, a tough journey for us to qualify to the AFCON 2025. So unless miracles happen, we should consider uh, the tournament as good as gone, and wait for 2027, which will be among the host. I don't know if we'll be ready to host that event. So, to be honest, that's the sorry state of affairs that we have in Kenya.
Yes, Kilong is saying that our federation is the main concern when it comes to the Kenyan football, and that is why we are suffering. We are approaching the AFCON 2025. Are we going to even play for AFCON 2025? we are still having this project for the AFCON bid 2027. Are we going to host the AFCON 2027? Earlier, CAF president, that is Patrick Motsepe, was in the country trying to investigate some of the stadiums that we have in Kenya, the likes of Kasarani, Moi, and also Dandora. Ulinzi Sports, he also investigated so that we can host the AFCON 2027. You see the difference between Kenyan football and other countries, the likes of Uganda and Tanzania. Because yesterday, I know most of people who are following this conversation were watching the game between Kenya and Djibouti in the Kinondoni Stadium, Dar es Salaam. And that is the same match that was played in Kinondoni. And during the match, then we had our Safari 7 in Machakos. So you can compare the difference between Machakos, Kenyatta stadiums, and the Kinondoni stadium that was being played by the Rising Stars in Dar es Salaam. Then you know the difference we have in Kenya and Tanzania, because Tanzania has already set up some of the best stadiums, the likes of Kinondoni, Benjamin Mkapa, so they can host the AFCON 2027. In Kenya, we don't have anything to show. The Safari Sevens was held in Machakos from 14. Was held from Machakos since on Friday up to yesterday. Although our just won, but still the state of Kenyatta stadiums in Machakos was not favorable because the sun was hot and still the ground had no carpet. It was very moldy, very dusty. So a lot of things are being happening in this country when it comes to football and also sports in general. So are we going to host the AFCON 2027? That is what we are asking, because we don't have stadiums, we don't have anything to show. And still, when it comes to our football, we have a lot of talent. I was following the conversation in the Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, and people are saying that Harambee Stars should be disbanded, the entire team, and we bring the Rising Stars, because they think the likes of Adrian Kibet, the likes of Tyrion Kariuki, Baron Ocheng, they are fit to play in the national team. We do away with the likes of Olunga, the likes of Dicho Dada, and also the likes of Patrick Matasi, because the first game, people said that that was a mistake from our goalkeeper Patrick Matasi. Instead of coach Eugene Ferrati playing Byron Omondi, he played Patrick Matasi, who has been our anti Onana in this country. But still, uh, Onana was playing very good, very well when it comes to this tournament. Matasi has been there. We saw him trying to pull one of the best performance in the AFCON 2019, whereby he only saved a penalty from Sadio Mane. But since then, he has been a big flop when it comes to our football. Kilong, do you think that we should change our national team coach? And who do you think should be the head coach of the Harambee Stars?
To be honest, I think really, if we change the federation and how it manages football, then that will be a good start. Then we make a policy of having competitive coaches who are adaptive to the modern football, and they can they are agile and can can uh, can play uh, good football that is well suited with the players that we have. Because to be honest, we have good players. People are saying we disband the team and bring new ones. I think that is going overboard. I think uh, we have good players. Michael Olunga is a good finisher and very talented. He himself, if he's if he is made to lead the team, it will go to places. But generally, I think that our fundamental problem comes from management. Once we solve that, then we are 2 steps ahead of where we are now. So yes, people are thinking that we have a corrupt management that favors certain tribes when choosing the nation squad, because people are saying that there are a lot of Luyas and Luos in our national team. Uh, which I think regarding that is going overboard, because people know that in Kenya, the Western and Nyanza region are very talented when it comes to football, and that goes down even to the secondary level. We see that most of the teams that go play national level come from those regions. So it would really be unfair to say that the team is only dominated by two tribes. But what I think generally is that once we change our football federation and do away with the old crap, then we are going somewhere. I was following a conversation on X, and I was seeing that Nick Mwendwa and the vice president are also campaigning, so that now the last vice president is the president and Nick Mwendwa is is the vice president. I think if we are in a serious country, those two should be abolished from vying for any seat on the football federation, because the problems we are in now was solely created by Nick Mwendwa and his team, because they are corrupt to the core, and don't they lead by their stomachs, and they don't have any interest of football in their heart.
That is Kilong, and they're saying that the moment we are going to fix our federation, then that is where we're going to start winning. Personally, I think that the head coach has not given us a very consistent lineup when it comes to this competition. He always changes players, and despite the change of players, then there is no support from the federation, because even there is no journalist to go and cover the event. There's no stadiums. There's no support. So a lot of things are happening. But I think if we are going to get someone who is very good when it comes to leadership, then in this federation, then we're going to have a very big change. We know that earlier November we shall be having counties elections for the FKF, that is the Football Kenya Federation, before the real actual elections that is going to happen on 7th December 2024. Who is going to come in and take over from Nick Mwendwa. Nick Mwendwa has been there serving for 2 terms, but still he has not given us that support. He has not shown his leadership skills when it comes to the football. I don't know why he was chosen and where has he been featuring the leadership of sports. He has been there for 2 terms, but still we have not complained. I don't know if we are so much relegated when it comes to football, and we are more into the athletes, because you know in athletics then that is where we perform the best. So I think Nick Mwendwa is high time you leave. We have seen today there was a conference that was happening, and it was the official day of the presentation of papers for the FKA president. We have seen former Nyanza region member, that is Tom Alila, who has presented his application for the FKA president, that is Tom Alila. Yusuf Hussein Mohammed, together with former Harambee Stars and Inter Milan striker McDonald Mariga. McDonald Mariga is going to be the running mate of Hussein Mohammed. I've seen some of people supporting that, but I have not even declared who I'm going to support when it comes to the FKA president. That is the Hussein Mohammed. We have also seen former CEO of our Football Kenya Federation, that is Barry Otieno, who resigned earlier in the week. Has also presented his papers for the FK president. You have seen a lot of people. Former Gor Mahia and Harambee Stars striker Sammy Owino Kempes has also presented his papers for the FKF president. We are looking forward to see who is going to feature and who is going to be the next president of the FKF, because we all know that this is the major look that we are having in this country when it comes to the soccer generally. Because if we are going to fix this FKF, then we are going to have a big change and development when it comes to football. We have Hussein Mohamed, we have Samuel Wino Kempes, we have Barry Otieno, we have Tonga Lila. Sam Nyamweya, the former FKA president, is also vying for the FKA president this seat. Kilong, what do you think? All of them, we have Samuel Wino Kempes, former Gor Mahia and also Harambee Stars striker. We also have Hussein Mohammed together with McDonald Mariga. I was with McDonald Mariga. That is on Saturday, and I listened to him whenever he was speaking, and I can say that maybe they can try. We also have Samu Nyamweya, Chom Alila, who is also vying for this FKF president. Klong, who do you think we can get into when it comes to this FKF president? Who do you think can be the good person for this federation? And
Um,
what are some of the qualities that he should have?
okay, I think the quality that they should have is that they should have experienced playing football for Kenya and know the challenges that our footballers in Kenya are facing. So for me, any side that has a footballer, I think at least have they should at least have a head start because they understand what the challenges that they have been facing. So personally, I would support the candidate with Mariga in it because the ticket with Mariga in it because I think Mariga has played international football and he has been all over Europe. So at least he understands what are the standards that are there internationally. So if at all he has football in his heart, then he will try all his best to uh, implement some of the stars that he has seen in his playing career, uh, going around the globe and see and experiencing live what has been happening in other countries. So I think for me that would suggest that they're in a better place, but I'm really not sure until we see them in action. That's when we will decide. We'll decide if they're really suited to upgrading our Kenyan football status.
Yeah, Kilong is saying that he's supporting the side that is having McDonald Mariga, that is led by Hussein Mohammed. He earlier declared that in the Villa Rosa Kempinski Westland Hotel in Nairobi, whereby they are going to vie for the FKF presidency when it comes to these elections that is happening in the next few weeks. That is on December 7th, year 2024. That is all about AFCON qualification. We are wishing Harambee Stars all the best and we're wishing the next candidates of the FKF Federation all the best. In matters concerning AFCON, we saw the defending champions, Ivory Coast, winning against Sierra Leone. We also saw there is an incident that happened today, and I think Long has also seen that. We have
Yeah,
seen the Nigerians, the Super Eagles, being stranded in the Libya, that is Tripoli, after what happened in the Nigeria, and it's like these two countries have that enmity. I've seen Victor Boniface tweeting in the X account and also Instagram. I've also seen social media top journalists posting that incidents whereby the Super Eagles are stranded in Nigeria. And this is after what happened. I don't know what happened, but still, been following what is the conversation. But the conversation is that the Libya national team was stranded still in Nigeria. I think they are trying to play a tit for tat. I don't know why they are playing a tit for tat. And after following the comments there, it's like these two countries have enmities, and I don't know why do they have enmities. That is Nigeria and Libya. You know, Nigeria has some of the top players, the likes of Victor Boniface, Osman, Basay, Lukman. You know, I think this is something that will always bring down our football in the continent of Africa. Kelong, I think you have been following what is happening. What do you think really led to this situation? And do you think this one is going to affect our football in the continent of Africa?
yeah, I think this behavior is really not welcomed here in Africa because we should respect our countries and don't stoop so low and put sportsmen or footballers in this case in situations that uh, are awkward because you can't have a team, the plane that they were in was directed to to another airport that is far away from where they were to be played, and there was no arrangement for them on how to get there, so they were stranded. So it shows the petty issues that here in Africa we are engaged. We're not focused in making sport move forward. We are focused on the nitty gritty, petty issues. Like our leaders are some kind of teenagers who don't know how to handle each other. They're not professional, and this is a sad state of affairs because Nigeria has good players and they have traveled all over the world and know how other how footballers operate. Imagine Victor Boniface going to his team in Bayern Leverkusen and telling his teammates that he was stranded in an airport. That's absurd. How will they see or take football in Africa? They'll see that uh, we, we are not serious, and we are we are like operating in the 20th century while people are moving forward. So what is happening to Nigeria football team is really sad, and I encourage our African leaders not to engage in this kind of rhetoric that stains our name and shows and exposes us to the global world that we are a bit behind, and we are not attuned to the modern way of life. So the sad state of affairs. I think that the players have boycotted the game altogether, and they are now seeking ways on going back to their club teams and continue playing their football there stress free without these stupid games that's happening.
Yeah, I have followed what is happening after some of the journalists tweeted there. And the captain, the national team captain, is William Trust Kong. He tweeted there that the CAF should investigate, that is the CAF in Africa, that is the board that always interrogates what is happening in terms of football. They should come in and also discuss what is happening in between these countries. Some of the comments there, they're saying that Libya should be banned from international football. I don't know what really happened to this. And of course, the pictures that are circulating in the social media, they're showing how the Nigerian football team are struggling and they are being stranded in Libya. But after Victor Boniface and other players tweeted, the aeroplane was now fueled and they are going back to Nigeria. The players and the management of Nigeria, they have said that their players, they are not going to play that much. It's either they are given a walkover or they give it to Libya because they are saying they value their life more than football. So I think the same way Klonga said that this thing is going to affect our football in Africa because the likes of Andemola Kuma, they plays for Atlanta in Italy. Victor Boniface was one of the top scorers in the Bundesliga there. So going back to the Bayer Leverkusen, and also trying to tell their colleagues there the same thing that happened. It is a sad state in the whole continent of Africa. So we know that those countries in North Africa always have those grudges, but this should not go to football because football is something that brings teams together, unites, and also try to show what kind of talents do you have. So I think this is a bad state for our continent of Africa, and it is something that CAF should consider what is the main problem. Because if we go tit for tat, then things are not going to be okay in our football. That is more about AFCON qualifiers 2024. This weekend we have not been having the Premier League and also those Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A. We have not been having them because of the UEFA National League and the AFCON qualifiers. And also World Cup qualifiers. In the South America, Argentina is leading there's a group of 10 teams, and we also have Colombia there. We have Brazil, Chile. You know, you have top teams, the likes of Uruguay there. They are playing for World Cup qualification. In the South America, we have World Cup qualification, that is CONMEBOL. In Africa, we have AFCON qualification. In Asia, we have the Asian League there, and also in European countries, we have the UEFA Nation League. UEFA Nation League that is happening. Kelong, which match really impressed you in the UEFA Nation League after you saw teams playing, Ronaldo playing, you saw Lewandowski playing, you saw Croatia playing, France playing, Spain playing? Which are some of the matches that really impressed you when it comes to this UEFA Nation League?
Uh, I'm not a fan of UEFA National League because it's a glorified friendly tournament. So uh, it's not that competitive. But I watched some of the games, especially where we have Chelsea players because I'm a Chelsea fan, and I watched the game with Israel and France, and I was impressed with how Kuku played. Also watched Portugal and Poland to see Neto and the young man Renato Vega. It was a decent match, and the game that I watched, I think 3 days ago or 4 days ago, was England and Greece, and it was really interesting to see how England played. They were battered by Greece 2-1, in which in that game they could have conceded more because they were. We had a goal line clearance from Levi Colwill, a Chelsea player, and overall, I think that the manager for England, Lee Kansley, I hope that is his name, um, he was trying to experiment some of the things, and it really never worked out. The game with Finland, I think yesterday, where they won 2-0. It was not an interesting game, but at least they got their first win under that manager. Uh, the problem I also see with England is that they have good talent, but a manager that tries to uh, balance the talent in the team and make the best player play in the right position. That is a challenge that the managers in England always face, and we are seeing that England are trying to recruit a new manager because Lee Kansley said that he's not up to the task because the role needs a world class manager and he's not yet there. So I don't know how he doesn't believe in himself, but I see people saying that Tuchel had an interview with the England FA Association to try and see how if he could be the next coach. And for me, uh, Tuchel is a serial winner, and he's a good addition to the England team, and can make them competitive and even bring them their first tournament or their first trophy since 1966 or something, when they last won the World Cup. So that's what I watched during the UEFA Nations League. I don't follow it that much because I consider it as an overglorified friendlies.
That is Kulong, and of course, he's saying that he does not even bother about the UEFA Nation League because it is always more glorified. That is why, and of course, the teams are playing, and I saw England playing. The problem that we have with England is that they have a lot of talents that they don't know how to utilize them. I don't think whether the problem is the managers or what. The problem when it comes to the Three Lions is that they don't have that winning mentality when it comes to these big tournaments. How can you battle back to back UEFA Euro? That shows how poor you are when it comes to the winning mentality, and that's why Gareth Southgate left. Now we have a new manager. I think they need someone who has that winning mentality. When it comes to finals, it is not easy to defeat Mourinho when it comes to the finals. the likes of Antonio Conte, the likes of Tuchel. Those are players, the coaches, the likes of Carlo Ancelotti. They have those strategies when it comes to the finals. So I think any coach who doesn't have that mentality, then he's not going to utilize. Some of the big players we have in the England, but still they have more than 100 top players, but still they cannot win. That shows how poor they are when it comes to selecting their teams. That is more about UEFA Nation League, and of course, we go to the club, individual clubs, and we know the Premier League is now going to be back, and Bundesliga, those leagues are now going to be back. Teams are now preparing. Some of the players have gotten injuries in the internationals, as you see. Some of the fans complain about this international breaks because the players will come with injuries, and that one will affect their top performance. So let's start with Arteta, that is Arsenal side. They were affected by the internationals. Odegaard, now Bukayo Saka is still not in good place to play. Kilong, do you think that one thing is going to affect Arsenal from competing? Well, I know they have good gameplay nowadays.
Yeah, for me, I think the international as a club supporter, you have to cross your fingers because your best players might go and play and come back injured, and that will obviously affect your club playing. So for me, I saw Odegaard was injured last international break and is yet to come back. And I saw that he has faced a setback in his injury, and he will now be out. Will be sidelined till December. So that's a blow to Michael Arteta because we know Odegaard is really the creator for Arsenal. And now if Bukayo Saka limped in the last game they were playing against Greece, so him we don't know if he will be ready to play on the weekend. Uh, but of course, the international breaks, especially when there's nothing to compete for, because I told you, UEFA Nations League previously it was a friendly match, but now they organized a league in it and made uh, a trophy and made people to compete. But few years ago it was just friendly where you could put anyone and try to see uh, how well you can make a team, especially for the World Cup qualifiers and the Euro qualifiers. So those are the games that I think matters a bit. So it's a real blow when players go out to international break and come back with injuries. So we had to see how Arsenal will play. But I'm thinking Saka is not that injured. Maybe just a slight injury, so that not to affect his game come weekend. But if you see the damage that did to Arsenal after they lost Odegaard, is that they are now struggling with creating chances because Odegaard was their main creator, and now they play forceful football. They defend well and score majorly on set pieces. They have perfected the how they take set pieces. So that's the effect of international breaks to club competitions.
Yes, Kilong is saying that injury for Martin Odegaard has really affected Arsenal and the Mikel Arteta side. Despite them signing Raheem Sterling in the squad, who is now trying to prove to the followers how he's going to perform in the Arsenal squad, and yet he has not been given the first 11 by the Mikel Arteta. So we are wishing that Premier League is going to be back so that we can enjoy that football that comes all the way from the UK. And still, I have seen what is happening, and it's like now it is that time that Chelsea and the Enzo Maresca side they welcome James. We are hoping that he's going to be fit for the next few matches and also the remainder of the season, because this is one of the players who is very talented, but still he has not been lucky when it comes to football. I can also say that his sister Lauren James is performing best when it comes to football more than his brother, because Lauren has been consistent. He has not been having injuries. And James, he only plays one or two matches and or is given red card or is sent away by injury. But wishing him all the best in the remainder of the season, because we are really missing one of the quality defenders there, because he's one of the Harambee that we have in this Premier League. And I don't know whether why people always compare him together with other players, because technically Rich James is very strong. He has those dribbles, he has those crosses, and his cross into the box is always accurate. He doesn't even kick the ball like you don't know what you're doing. He always know where is sending the ball. I always enjoy him playing. So I think Enzo Maresca can now try to give us one of the best lineup when it comes to this football, because Chelsea is still struggling. But after the draw, as we broke for these internationals, you're now coming for a big match. Kelong, what is your prediction and what do you see about Rhys James' return from the injury? I know you are happy, man.
Yeah, obviously, as a Chelsea fan, you're excited that at least Reece James has returned to training, full training, and we really know how good of a player he is. And people were discussing that um, he was actually our best player before Cole Palmer joined in Chelsea. It's only sad that the injuries have sidelined him, and we have forgotten how good he can be, because he's very strong on the right back, uh, and his attacking threat. And people are saying if he comes back and he's placed in the right right back inverted role, then he will be dangerous, because apart from him giving good crosses, defending well, he's absolutely a good finisher. His strikes are always strong, so he'll be a good additional player to Chelsea, because we've really missed him, and we're excited. We hope that his injury doesn't occur again, because sometimes this can frustrate players, because if they have a recurring injury, it means that their their career is uh, almost over, because now Chris James is reaching an age where he should be now approaching his peak, and with the injuries, it will limit him. So we are hope and praying, and I see he has a strong mentality. I've been watching him saying that it took a toll on his mental health, but I hope now he comes back, and also I know now currently Chelsea have good players, so they will not be in a rush to bring him in. We'll slowly introduce him until he gets to his brilliant best, where we can enjoy him, seeing him playing a whole full 90 minutes. So for Chelsea, he'll be a real good additional player to what we have cooking in Stamford Bridge.
That is a Chelsea fan saying he will be happy to see this James playing for the 90 minutes, because he has not been active in playing due to injuries when it comes to the Premier League and also in the National League, that is in the national team. Because if 100% this James is fit, then you cannot leave him outside for the competition. He did not play for the World Cup because of injuries. 2022. Now we have this Euro. He has not played. We have this internationals. He has not played. You know, a lot of things are happening. But we wish Enzo Maresca could just try to introduce him slowly but slowly, as Kilong is saying, so that they can have him in the top 11 for the Chelsea team. As a Chelsea fan, I know people are questioning what is happening. Are they going to win? this Premier League. Kilong, do you think that your team is going to win the Premier League this season, or Anceslot ataachilia hiyo kitu?
To be honest, for Chelsea winning this Premier League this season will be a tough call, but we never know what will happen. But for now, I think we are not in that position to win the Premier League. Maybe we'll show signs, but I think Man City, Arsenal, and somehow Liverpool are ahead of us in terms of going for the title. But as a Chelsea fan, you'll never say never. Where there is a will, where there's a will, there's a way. So we will try to hang in there and try to play good football. People were discussing how if we can't win matches against Nottingham Forest, against Crystal Palace, uh, then that will be make it difficult for us to to compete for the title. I think that's an accurate judgment, but in the same case, Premier League competition is hard, and sometimes we things doesn't work for you. Like the game on Nottingham Forest, we had good chances and we never took our chances, and that's how we drew. And this week, this coming week, we have a nice game with Liverpool. Uh, so that will help us show, will really help us show the level that we are, because we started with Man City and they won against us because we were not fully prepared. We hadn't gel. Now we will see the progress we have made when we play a good team like Liverpool and see the challenge that will come to it. And also remember some of the Chelsea players who were starters will be missing the game because they were suspended due to uh, getting 5 yellow cards, like of Wesley Fofana will not be playing the match. Mark Kurela also will not be playing the match. So it will be interesting to see how we will adapt to that kind of situation and compete with a good side such as Liverpool. But as always, up the Chelsea. That's what we say as a Chelsea fan.
Saying that Liverpool will be a team that is going to show how they are preparing for this season, because
Yeah.
Chelsea will be now facing Liverpool, and in the next weekend we are going to witness that big match whereby Enzo Maresca, the bald man, will be facing the bald man, that is Arne Slot. So he's going to win that match. We are just waiting for that. So if you are following this conversation, you can tell us what is your prediction for this 2024-2025 Premier League season. Who is going to be the top scorer? Who is going to be the winner of this season? Because teams are playing in that Premier League season. Who is going to be the winner? Remember, this is Afriq 24. If you're following here for the first time, this is Dimba Afriq Monday edition, and we're discussing some of the post-match analysis as we prepare for Premier League to come back in the next weekend. Fans are still getting bored because there was not a Premier League this weekend, but we had the Safari Sevens in Machakos, whereby the Jazz won, and we also have the Chicago Marathon that is happening. We know Man United, they are having problems. Just want to get a quick one from Kilong. Kilong, do you think that Ten Hag should stay or he should leave?
Uh, if you ask a fan that is not for Man United whether he should stay or not, then our answer is simple. Ten Hag is the best coach for Manchester United, and he should stay. But I think the management of for United have decided to stick with him because I was looking at the social media that they were having a meeting and they backed Eric Ten Hag going forward. So it will be interesting to see how they will perform. But as we all know, Manchester is currently struggling, and that makes the opposition fans happy. And we really wish that they continue struggling so that we enjoy their downfall. We are always happy when Manchester United is suffering. So it will be up to them to step up their game and try to compete because I don't see an identity. um, that Ten Hag is having overall. He doesn't control games. He relies mostly on counter-attacking football, and that kind of football sometimes is long gone. So I think Ten Hag is struggling, but if Manchester United struggles, I don't have a problem with that. I'm always happy.
Yes, that is Kilongo saying that if Man United they are struggling, then he is happy with that. He doesn't have problems with Man United struggling for this EPL. You know, Premier League is one of the best leagues that is being followed by the fans all over the world. Here, we're joined by a loyal fan of Arsenal, Leo Nyabaya. He has been a loyal fan for Arsenal for over 50 years. So the question that we are posing for him here is, after Odegaard being injured, Bukayo Saka now is having problems with his ankle. Do you think that the internationals have affected you? And what is your prediction for the next match of the Arsenal? Because we are having Arsenal playing in the Premier League. Do you think that your team is going to win this 2024-2025 Premier League season? And why do you think your team has that capability of winning this league this season?
Yes, Bonnie and Mzee Kelong, greetings from that end. I hope you guys are okay. And I don't know why you had to talk of 50 years. Of course, if you talk of somebody supporting Arsenal for 50 years, then it really reminds me that you understand what Arsenal is. Because if you talk of the 50 years or those many years, the people who lived, they know what Arsenal is and the foundations of this team. So it means you're not talking of teams like Chelsea that just began recently without anything historical that can make people remember them for. Just straight to your point, you talked of the internationals. I think internationals, however much people get injuries, these players, it is their nations, their countries that they play for that made the other clubs to know them. So they pledge allegiance to these countries. And despite the fact that they pledge allegiance to these countries, they have to go back and play in their respective countries. And that is a good thing. And Arsenal is a big team, actually. It's a team. And when we talk of a team, it doesn't mean we depend on specific people, maybe specific players. These are players. Players will always come and go, but the badge will remain. So I think there is enough depth, and the coach can be able to choose. There are so many people that can be selected. As far as the league is concerned, I know it is still early, but as a loyal fan who is hopeful and positive, what I can say is that we are ready and we have what it takes to win the league. We are going to learn from the mistakes that we've been making for the last 2 seasons. And if we don't repeat them, if we use them as a lesson, then inshallah, this season, Arsenal is going to lift it after a long period of time. I can see Muzek along is laughing. I don't know why.
I think that is a dream from Leo, because we all know Arsenal is not capable of winning any trophy. They are always good at losing, and they're always the people who say that they will win next season. So I think Arsenal will try again to win next season, because they are not they don't have the mentality of winning a competition like the Premier League, because it has been 20 years since they last won the cup. Imagine 20 years is a full grown baby who's now uh, done with high school, and is trying to hustle. Imagine for all those years, Arsenal have not tasted the Premier League glory. So it's sad for them, it's sad for their fans, but of course they have been good the past. They were good last season. Remember, they were ahead for majority of the season, but when it mattered most, they failed and were defeated by Manchester City. So I think the glory days for Arsenal are long gone, and they are just another team which tries to win competitions but fail when the moment comes. That's what I think about Arsenal generally.
I think that is more than maybe just being an opponent, but it maybe degenerates to some hate. You can't write off Arsenal. This is a team that, if you look at the last, maybe the last three leagues that have been played, it's a team to beat. It's a team that every team in the Premier League is praying that they beat it. And I don't know, I don't want to put you as a Manchester fan, but I know that the ones who normally have such kind of beliefs. For the last three seasons, Arsenal have been giving Man City a run for their money. And if you even had the confession of Man City's coach, he said the only team that if he's removed from the Premier League, then he can comfortably sit knowing that he's having the trophy is Arsenal. So meaning he only goes there to play and goes to train and maybe works hard because of Arsenal. But if you remove Arsenal today, he will just rest knowing that the rest are not team, the rest are others. So 20 years is long, that is true. There are some of us who last saw that trophy when we were joining high school. Some of us were in primary school. That is a fact. But that one doesn't write Arsenal off. We've been playing quality football. And remember, football is not only about lifting the trophies. The trophies are only for the fans, but for the entire fraternity, there's a lot that is involved. We've been selling or maybe producing quality players. We've been making money and so on and so forth. So this time round, maybe it will be the turn of the fans to also celebrate because the people associated with Arsenal, they've not been losing that much. So we don't need to make it feel as if Arsenal is the only team that has not maybe lifted that trophy for the last 20 years. Remember, we are having so many tens of teams, and we are only going to have one a winner. So we are doing our best, of course.
Other is Leo is saying that they are doing their best when it comes to the Arsenal, and the team should not be outcasted in this game. You're waiting to see if they are going to win, and that is Mikel Arteta side after 20 years of not winning the Premier League. Although they have won FA, Carabao, but still fans recognize EPL, that is the English Premier League. They're going to win this one. Something that I have asked Leo Nyamba. Leo, I just want to ask a quick one here. Do you think that our Harambee Stars is suffering from coach or even the federation? What is the problem that is affecting our Harambee Stars? Because we have been clompered by Cameroon home and away.
I think Boniface, we were here last time, and I told you that there's no way we are going to beat Cameroon. I told you, number one, all these games we are playing them away, and we're not going to have what is called the home advantage. And I told you Cameroon is going to beat us at their home, and when we'll take them to Uganda, which is we are going to be home away from home, they are the best we can get from them is a drone, and you saw it. Right now, I think we are placed behind Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe also having a game in hand. It means that the last game that we're going to have with them is just have to ensure that we win that game. I don't know how possible that one is going to be. Well, you heard what the coach said. The coach said that okay, we were beaten in Cameroon simply because we lacked the fans. It could be because the stadiums were full. So what was he trying to say? You know, each and every time we lose a game, there must be an excuse. And we also don't need to blame him that much because whenever we win, we win equally and also lose equally. In a game, we have to lose, win, or draw. And this one goes to, I told you, when it comes to football, the entire federation, the sponsors, the fans, and everything, and the players are involved. So the coach blamed the fans, lack of fans. I don't know, he wanted us to carry our fans in Cameroon. But I think what he meant is that the other game, instead of playing home, we are going to play it away, which will not be able to have the advantage of the fans, which is also making sense. In that case, who do we blame? We blame the federation. And we also blame the Minister of Sports that has failed to provide the infrastructure. Remember, the entire country, we call ourselves a powerhouse in East Africa. We are going to play our matches in Uganda. Just imagine Uganda of all the countries. So the ministry is really failing us big. It's really a shame. And we are the same people who bid and we want to play the African champions, whatever, the African games. Is it in 2027? So we are not yet prepared for these games. So the entire system needs an overhaul. Right now, we are going for elections. I've seen people like the former players. I've seen people like the former CEO of KPL, like people like Ogoda. So the same faces. And when I look at these guys and our media, you people media, you also sometimes, I don't know, you're also brokers. You see somebody like Arocho is now trying to sell his candidate, forgetting that he's the same person who sold for us with Nick Mwendwa. Sometimes you look at these people who want to become presidents and they make Nick Mwendwa appear to be less devil than them. So we need an overhaul. We need to start with our federation. We need to go to our media. We need to give these games the coverage. When we give good coverage, then we are able to get good players because our scouts, the people who are scouting for Harambee Stars, some of them have never even go to these places where talents are. Talents are in these remote places. They only concentrate in Nairobi. That is why they only pick those people you've seen playing at Jammu, the people you've seen playing at Kisumu Day, and so on and so forth. But when you go to those, we have to. And the coach also should not be able to give us the excuses. When he was giving this team, he knows very well we are not having full stadium and how to play in an empty stadium. I think that is what I'll say for now. But it was evident that was a
That is a quick one from Kilong and Leo Nyabaya. So that is what we are having here in Afriq 24, discussing some of the
back to you,
post-match
Bonnie. I
analysis
hope
as
you
we
can
wait
hear
for
me.
the. That is a quick
Yeah,
one from Leo Nyabaya. After what we witnessed, Cameroon thrashing Harambee Stars home and away. A match that was played away. If you asked some of the fans in Kenya, they'll tell you that that was a match that was played away, because we did not have that home advantage. In Uganda, that is where we played our home match. This is a Afriq 24, and of course, I want to say thank you for who joined this conversation here, the likes of Kilong, Leo Nyambaya. You have been giving us the full support since we started this conversation. So a quick one from Leo as we come to the close of the show. Leo, you can give us your last submission as we come to the end of the show. Leo, are you there?
Bonnie, did you talk to me? I think. All right, I'm there. Maybe what I can say is that okay, the international break is over. We are getting back to the Premier League. I just wish my team Arsenal the best. I know, despite the injury, we are still going to maneuver, and I pray that we get the best out of these games. I'll also not forget to pray for our noisy neighbors, the Manchester United, so that at least they can start learning how to win games consistently and convincingly. We are tired of looking for them in the second page, and I want to see them come in the first page. At least when we are even taking screenshots, we can be able to capture them somewhere at the bottom of the screenshot. Well, then, if I'm able to flip my phone, I can be able to read them maybe from the beginning. Right now, that is not happening. And to our Kenyan football, what I can tell the stakeholders, the ones who are going to participate in the upcoming FKF elections. Let them not like do what we normally do when we are electing our political leaders in the maybe political arena. It happens in a political elections because majority have been given an opportunity to elect, and people have got different views and such kind of things. So it is possible to elect a wrong person. But in the FKF, we are having delegates. These are people who are specifically selected because they have got some ideas. There's something that they know in the game that the rest of the people cannot be able to make decision of. So a situation whereby we are having the delegates making decisions, we need them to make the best decision compared to when you open it as a pool so that the entire society can be able to vote. So we don't want to see the we don't want to see the same faces who've not been able to manage our football. We cannot change somebody from being a CEO of the Kenya Premier League of FKF Premier League to being a president of FKF. We cannot remove somebody from being a chairman of Gor Mahia or a chairman of Kariobangi Sharks and make this person become the president of the FKF. We need partners that we them with. So let us also keep off this kind of publicity that we try to give people simply because we need their money. We in the media are influencers, so let us not be used to sanitize some people who doesn't have some management skills. Thank you, Bonfaza, for this show. Of course, you're trying to reach be on what is happening in the field of games. Thank you so much.
Yes, a quick one, Kilong, a quick one as we come to the end of the show.
Awesome. Thank you, Bonnie, and thank you, Leo. I think Leo has been spot on the issues facing our Kenyan team. As I said earlier as well, that the problem comes from the management. Once we solve that, then we'll be in a good position to compete in competitions that we're not left behind. We claim we're the powerhouse in East Africa, but when it comes to sports, we are lagging way behind. So the thing is that our management, starting from the Ministry of Sports, led by Kipchumba Murkomen, then it trickled down to the Football Federation. Then if they have a blueprint on improving our football, then we'll go far. As well, the Premier League is resuming this weekend. We are waiting to see how our teams will perform, and interesting match. I think the game of the week will be Chelsea versus Liverpool, and wishing our team in blue all the best, and hope that we batter Liverpool and give them a run for their money. Otherwise, thank you for having me here. It's always been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much, Kilong. Thank you so much, Leo, and the entire Afriq 24. On behalf of the management, I want to say thank you so much. Those who have been talking to us through the comment section there, we say we appreciate for that. And same time, same place, we meet here on Monday so that we can discuss some of the top stories and also post-match analysis. But we'll see whether we shall be having a quick one after Chelsea plays Liverpool, a big match. We shall be having all those here in Afriq 24. And to say thank you so much. And we are meeting here. And in the next 2 hours, we shall be having another show for the politics. So keep your eyes tuned in Afriq 24.